All right, Mateo. So Bucks Lakers just wrapped. I had caught the first half. I know we did a pretty good job. At least through the first half. But catch us up. What happened?
The Lakers' first half, from the get-go, it was a really energetic game from both teams. By the way, they ended up winning 113-106. Um,
Next.
really good back and forth game, like I was saying. The Stars are playing overall pretty well, even though Giannis's shot was pretty bad at points. I'll get into that later. And AD's shot was kind of off too, and he's just been kind of meh during stretches of certain games. And this is kind of one of those games today too. But on both sides, the role players are pretty engaged and they're competing. So if you didn't catch the game, I'll give a quick rundown. First quarter, we see some pretty good energy throughout the first. What I thought was really interesting, they start going to Giannis right away. Like, of course, he's their best player, but they had AD guarding Giannis from the onset, and AD can guard anyone, so that's cool. But Giannis seemed like he was really trying to make it a point to score on AD and defend really hard. I think he kind of knew, like, yeah, I got two MVPs, but this guy has that championship level respect, and so I think he was trying to make it a point to, get an edge over him. AD was playing kind of passive, and so that concerned me a bit. His shot wasn't really falling that much, but the Bucks had the slight upper hand at the end of the first, so they ended up being up 29-33. And going to the second quarter, stayed relatively close, but the Bucks are just hitting from everywhere. They were like 60% from the floor, so they kept the slight edge until about maybe halfway through the second. Then the Lakers really picked it up. AD's shot still pretty much not falling, but they were able to regain the lead 63-57 heading into it. They kind of just last second pushed through. And the third came around. So second half, they stretched the lead to 10, and that things were looking pretty good. They were settling in their offense. KCP was draining threes. LeBron was doing everything like he always does. The Bucks kind of punched back. They cut it down to 2, but then the Lakers stretched it back out to around 10. And so they were kind of having control. We head to the fourth quarter, and Lakers still got control. Halfway through, Giannis just starts like airballing some shots, and that was one of my things. I was thinking, like, wow, he's their best guy. And when it's closing time, they kind of go to Middleton, he's an okay closer, but still, Giannis, your best guy. You want him and his physical gifts to take advantage of people in crunch time. He got in foul trouble. I think he ended up getting 6 fouls, but
Wow.
he just can't, he can't shoot reliably with consistency, man. He'll have games where he goes off, but I don't think they're going to win a championship if Giannis doesn't get his shot figured out, man. It's guys with big hands, like with Giannis, sometimes they'll have trouble getting a shot down. Kawhi was able to figure out he's got huge hands and he's got a pretty reliable stroke, especially from mid range. But sometimes guys with big hands, like Ben Simmons too, it's something about like the clunkiness. They just can't, they can't find a good shot. So that's something I think about Giannis, man. I don't think they're really gonna get to the promised land if he still can't shoot reliably, especially in the playoffs when things slow down and it becomes a jumper game.
So was AD defending him really well throughout the whole game?
He kind of went off Giannis because lineup switched out and you would see AD on Brooks sometimes, but it wasn't they weren't on each other the whole time. Throughout stretches, AD's defense was kind of weird, and you could tell something was off. There might be something going on with him, like mentally or motivation wise. I don't know what it is, but there were little stretches where AD defended well. But
What was LeBron doing?
LeBron was defensively he was doing pretty good, but offensively he was doing it all, man. And I was actually about to get into it.
Nice.
In the fourth quarter, we're still up by around 10, but the Bucks started to make a kind of run with around like the 5-minute mark. Giannis started getting really aggressive, driving to the rim, which is where he really thrives. And he was getting some foul calls in his favor because I think he had 5 and the refs didn't want to foul him out. And LeBron just throughout the game, he kept hitting these crazy fallaways. And this is becoming a really reliable part of his game, like Kobe's at the end of his career. Like, it's starting to remind me of him. When
Wow.
it's like time to get a bucket, LeBron will post up and fade away on the baseline or, like on the wing, but inside the paint. And he hit a dagger deep 3 over Lopez when Lopez switched on to him. But LeBron was pretty much the one who closed it out for us. We won 113-106. KCP also had a really insane game, dude. He had 23 points, 7 of 10 from 3. And get this, according to Basketball Reference, he's making 53% of his threes this year. Crazy. Crazy for a 3-point number. So the Lakers win that. They continue to be excellent on the road. I forget their exact number, but I think they're like 500 or lower at home, and on the road they're like 7-2 or something.
Yeah, I was and sorry about my rubber banding. I'm still figuring things out, but it's okay. Yeah, Mateo, they said the Lakers have the best like franchise record on the road like ever, which is
It,
crazy.
it's crazy. I didn't know about that best ever for the franchise, but yeah, it certainly feels like it, man. Something about them going on the road, they're more focused and maybe they're more relaxed at home, just being in their own bed and whatever, but they play like shit at home these days. And on the road, it's like a championship level team. And so they certainly looked like one tonight in the win. It was, I'd say, LeBron and KCP and Alex Caruso for his fourth quarter stuff. He was just doing Alex Caruso things again, getting threes in the fourth quarter, getting steals. He had 3 steals, and he got
Wow.
the big rebounds. And him being on the floor just kind of makes things easier for LeBron. So I'd say those 3 were kind of like the biggest ones of the game for the Lakers.
That's a great win. I mean, the Bucks were really feared, at least last year. They have Giannis, and it's
Well,
a
they have
great.
a better team this year, I'd say. They got Drew now, man. Drew Holiday instead of Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, Drew. I saw a few of the Bucks. I don't know. I
You
just
know.
I know you don't think much of Bledsoe, and you know more about the game than I do. But I'm like, Drew just kind of.
I'd
I
say
don't
Drew's a
know.
little more reliable than Bledsoe.
I guess. I mean, he's an inconsistent guy too. Because even on the Pelicans, you're just like, I don't know what to think of this guy. Like sometimes he's an all-star, sometimes he just disappears. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think with Drew in the lineup, they could be a better team than last year for sure. But
You'd think
they're
so. Yeah.
they'll be headed for another early exit if Giannis doesn't figure his shot out, man. And I don't know if he can just figure it out over the course of the season. It'll take another off season or whatnot. But yeah, that's something that's just got to happen for him. Meanwhile, we get another really solid win on the road. This
Yeah.
is the strongest opponent we've played so far. We've had certain wins where we look like we're just humming on all cylinders. Our offense is just, hitting every note it has to. But those have been against bad teams like the Rockets when Harden didn't want to be there, or the Thunder, the Mavs without Porzingis. But this was a quality team, and they had all their guys. They threw the kitchen sink at us, and we got the upper hand, man. So best one of the season so far.
That's great. Who do we have next? Are we still on the road?
We're actually on a 7-game road trip. I know next we got the Bulls on Saturday, so this is going to be another test of their motivation. You win a
Yeah.
championship, you get complacent in the regular season at least. So this is another opportunity for Lakers to fall in the trap. They barely beat the Bulls the first time they met this year, but let's see if they can summon that motivation. They'll be on the road, which is good because apparently they're just a better team on the road. So that's going to be on
Yeah.
Saturday, man.
It's
Yeah.
also one of those things where like every team also rises to the occasion for us. Not only because we're the Lakers, but because we're the champs. And like it's just like
It's so true, dude. Sometimes I'm
yeah.
watching these games and we're sleepwalking. We're like, it's fucking January. I don't want to be here. And other teams are like, now's my time to play the Lakers. They will see how strong I am.
Exactly. I'm like,
You get
oh
everyone's best
God.
effort when you're the champ, man. But we're used to being the champs. We know how it goes.
Yet again we topple like a juggernaut in the East,
I
separating
know,
the
right?
skill gap once again.
That, that Nets game in February is still looming. We'll see how we but
Oh,
I mean they just lost to the Cavs in double OT. I didn't see that game, but checked the box score and I was confused. I was like, wait, what? They gave up 145 points?
the Cavs, like, oh no. I mean Drummond's on the Cavs though. He is a beast, so
Colin Sexton is what did him in, man. Harden, KD, and Kyrie were playing, but Colin Sexton was apparently too much. So
yeah, that's embarrassing. Well, appreciate the recap, Mateo. We'll
yeah,
probably be
man.
back Saturday after Conor McGregor does his thing. So who knows? We might even stream and talk some ball like before those fights. So, all right,
Yeah, that
Mateo. Any
sounds
last
good, man.
words, bro? Yeah.
All right.
How was your showdown, by the way?
Oh, my showdown. I was doing pretty good. I ended up putting Middleton in as my captain, and then I was able to buy Giannis and LeBron. And if Giannis just made a few more shots, dude, I probably would have been in the good money. But I think I finished in the money. So
Good for you, bro.
I also picked Brooke Lopez because I thought, okay, there might be some stretches where AD is not going to try as hard on defense. I was right. Marc Gasol is so fucking slow, especially on the perimeter. Like Brooke Lopez is just going to
Yeah.
drain threes openly. So Brooke did all right. Who else did I got? Well, I tried to see if Bobby Portis would come through for me, but he only had like 10 points. So
Jesus.
I
I've
know
noticed that Bobby actually does really well in blowout games.
he's
Portis,
he's doing kind of well. He's averaging like almost 10 rebounds a year, and he was really cheap. So I thought
wow.
like, okay, I'll take a risk on him.
He
There's
also
always
likes to destroy the Bulls whenever he plays his old team. So
Oh yeah, he's a vengeful motherfucker. There's
yeah,
some of the Bulls he doesn't like. Um,
definitely.
there's always random dudes that go off, random bums that go off against the Lakers. So I'm like, who's going to be the random bum tonight? And I thought that was going to be Portis, but I think
Oh,
it was DiVincenzo.
it was DiVincenzo, wasn't it?
DiVincenzo,
Yeah,
yeah, he was a little too
yeah,
expensive. So, but I like those showdowns, man, especially the Lakers because I know the team well. So
definitely. Yeah, we'll
yeah,
do one on Saturday. All right, Mateo. Thanks again, bro.
sounds good.